Hello HSA students. This video will cover all of the emergency procedures that you will need to know about in case of an emergency at HSA. By the end of this PowerPoint, you will be ready to handle all emergencies that may occur. Let's start with the objective. There are two objectives for this PowerPoint. The first is I will be able to identify the emergency color codes as well as demonstrate the proper procedures for each code. So you will learn about the 5 codes that will allow us to communicate about different emergencies on campus. Once you learn about the codes, you will also be able to determine what situations correspond to which codes, as well as where to evacuate in case of an emergency. Next, let's go over the purpose of learning about emergency procedures here at HSA. The goal of all of our staff members is to make sure that we maintain a safe learning environment for all students. In order to do that, it is extremely important to have a plan and to make sure that all staff members and all students are well aware of this plan. Also, because we live in the earthquake capital, earthquakes can happen at any moment. It is important to be prepared, have a plan, and make sure that everyone knows how to respond in a calm manner. Lastly, staff members are first responders in cases of emergency, which means that they are trained in the best way to help make sure our students are kept safe. This is the first of our 5 codes. Code green is what we are on most days. This is usual HSA activity and there is no emergency or danger. Should an emergency occur or should our school be put in danger, another code would be called. Once the emergency is taken care of or the danger is no longer present, we will always go back to code green. Our next code is code yellow. Code yellow indicates heightened security. This means that the conditions outside of campus are unsafe for students, but there is no immediate danger on our school campus. During code yellow, all doors should be locked and movement around campus is restricted. This means that adults must supervise any student who would like to use the restroom. It is important that you understand that code yellow is not a lockdown. Code yellow just means that there is something unsafe in the surrounding areas, like, for example, a chemical spill in a nearby facility. Other examples may include police activity in surrounding areas. Please make sure to always follow teacher instructions during code yellow at all times. Code orange is our code for lockdown. A lockdown occurs when the campus is unsafe for students and staff. All students and staff members are restricted to being in a locked room. During code orange, you are not allowed to use the restroom, and all doors must stay closed and locked. All lights in the classroom should be off. In addition, it is extremely important that you move away from all windows and doors, and even more important, that you remain quiet. There should be no talking at all during a lockdown. This is in place to make sure that you and your classmates are safe. Please always follow directions given to you by your teacher and remain calm and quiet during a lockdown. Reasons for a lockdown can include a hostile intruder on campus, a weapon on campus, gunshots in the community, or a fugitive in the community. Code red is used when all students and staff members must evacuate the building. Everyone must follow the evacuation route set forth by your teachers. During an evacuation, all classrooms will walk to the field. Once again, during an evacuation, it is extremely important to remain calm, walk, and follow all instructions to ensure your safety. Once you have been evacuated, you must line up according to your teacher's instructions and stay with your class. Reasons for code red include fires, earthquakes, unsafe structures, bomb threats, and hazmat, which means hazardous materials on campus. More instructions in terms of evacuations will be discussed later in this PowerPoint. Code blue is used for a medical emergency. This means that individual students or staff members require emergency medical attention. During code blues, all halls and common areas must remain clear for EMTs and to reduce panic. All students should remain in the classroom until the code blue is resolved. The reason for a code blue would be if there were paramedics on our school site. Here are all of the codes with detailed descriptions. During any emergency, the number one most important rule is to follow the directions of your teacher and to remain quiet and calm. By listening to instructions and following directions, you can help to reduce chaos, and you may even aid in saving someone's life. Please act mature in any emergency and help contribute to a safe school environment and community. Once danger has been controlled, the administration will notify all staff members of the All Clear code. Please make sure that during an emergency you are never using your cell phone. This eliminates phone calls to the office so that the office staff can help to make the campus safe again. Next, let's talk about emergency evacuations during class time. So a lot of this is review, but first, of course, you always want to listen for instructions over the intercom. Follow all instructions provided by your teacher. Remember to remain calm and quiet. And lastly, just listen and wait for directions. Next, let's talk about what to do if you need to evacuate during non-class time. The first thing you need to do is listen for instructions over the intercom. In an evacuation situation, evacuate to the field. Once on the field, students must report to their advisory teacher, except in a lockdown, which I will talk about on the next slide. Immediately proceed to your designated location and line up. Once you're there, please stay in line and remain quiet. And lastly, listen and wait for directions from your advisory teacher. Now we're going to talk about emergencies and special situations. Look at the following question. What would you do if there is a lockdown in between class periods, during nutrition or lunch, or before or after school? The first thing you would do is go to the nearest classroom or office and get inside. Wait for directions by the supervising staff member in that classroom. And lastly, remain calm and stay quiet so that the staff member can work on attendance. This was already covered in a previous slide, but what should you do if there is an evacuation during passing periods, nutrition, lunch, or before or after school? As mentioned before, please evacuate to the field and line up according to your advisory class. So let's say you're in class and there is an earthquake. These are the steps you should take in this situation. The first thing you should do is drop, duck, and cover. Next, wait for the code red call for evacuation on the intercom. And third, if no call is made because of the damage to the telephone lines, then listen to the directions given by your teacher and follow all code red procedures as discussed earlier. Just so you are aware, every classroom has a red emergency backpack. The backpacks contain rosters, the master schedule, a map of our campus, a list for absent students, paper, and emergency supplies. Please make sure that if you see these red backpacks in your classroom, that you do not touch them. They are there for emergencies only. Also inside your emergency backpacks are room signs. If you are asked to evacuate, when you arrive to the evacuation area, please line up based on the evacuation map, which is located inside the red backpack, and your teacher will have someone hold up your room number sign. Thank you so much for listening to this safety presentation. At this time, please take about 5 to 7 minutes with your advisory classmates to determine the codes for each of the following situations that you see on the screen. When you finish, please make sure to ask your advisory teacher should you need any clarification or if you have any questions about what to do in case of an emergency. Have a great day. Thank you.